There we go. Sweet. I've done a lot of talks before where tech has literally been not my friend and we've had to go without it. So it's good that it's working today. But as I said, thanks a million for coming. My name is Elon. I'm a personal trainer. Working in the industry for the last few years. I've worked with anyone and everyone you can imagine, from CEOs, people in legal, property, finances, IT, tech, everything that you can think of. And what I'm going to talk about today is physical health, mental health, wellness, and nutrition. And I suppose by the end of my talk and by the end of today, what I want to give you is as many simple and practical tips that you can go away and implement tomorrow. And you can be like, okay, yeah, I remember that thing from yesterday. And you can do like one, really positive thing to start building momentum with your physical health, mental health, wellness, and stuff like that. So just a quick background on myself. As I said, I've been working in the industry for the last few years, but something that you might know about me, one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about physical health and mental health, I suffered a really bad depression in 2018. Even though business was going extremely well, I'm self-employed, so business was going well, finances was going well, but I still wasn't happy. And I was like, there's an issue here, I had to get to the root of that problem. And as I said, I was suffering with depression really bad for the whole of 2018. Ended up having a panic attack in last December, and that was kind of like the turning point for me. I was like, okay, I need to really evaluate what's wrong here and work on it and just work the problem. And for me, training was really good for improving my mental health, and working with a counselor as well was really good for improving my mental health. Those two things were really, really good for me, and thankfully now I don't suffer with depression or anything like that anymore. So that's one of the reasons why I'm really passionate about mental health, and why I want to talk about training and stuff like that, because I know how much of a positive impact it can have on your mood and how you feel and your energy levels and just feeling good in general. So I wanted to give you 6 pillars of health and well-being. Over the last few years, I've noticed some common trends with a lot of my clients, and everyone who gets really, really good results when it comes to increasing energy levels, feeling better, feeling more confident, getting fitter, sleeping better, all those sort of things, they have focused on these 6 areas. So it's getting enough sleep, so 7 to 9 hours sleep per night, having good quality food, staying hydrated, training ideally maybe 2 or 3 times a week for anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes, getting enough steps in, managing your stress, and also finding out what your why is. What's your reason for wanting to feel better, wanting to feel fitter, wanting to increase your energy levels, and make these positive changes with your life. So those are the 6 most important takeaways for today, and if you focus on them, you'll get really, really good results. So that's the big question today. What am I doing to take care of my mind and my well-being? I don't care if you forget everything else that I talked about today, but I just want you to remember one thing, and that's that question. That's what I want you to ask yourself, is what are you doing to take care of your mind and your well-being? Because if you ask yourself that on a regular basis, it helps you get back to kind of a neutral set point where you're like, okay, maybe I do need to work a little bit less this week. Maybe I do need to do a bit more exercise or eat a little bit better or whatever it may be. So that's the big question for today. So, fitting a healthy lifestyle into your schedule. Who here finds it difficult to do that? Okay, sweet. From working with a lot of people over the last few years, I've noticed that just working a lot by itself can have a really big impact on fitting a healthy lifestyle into your schedule. So by healthy lifestyle, I mean training a couple of times a week, just to clear the head, and maybe making some better choices with food as well. So when it comes to fitting a healthy lifestyle into your schedule, we kind of just want to take an analytical look at how many hours we have in the week, and then kind of just work the problem from there. So if we look at it on the screen, if you work about 40 hours a week, that takes up about 25%. If you're sleeping 8 hours, it takes up about 30 to 33%. But when it comes to training and your own well-being, if you were to commit 3 hours to training every week, that only works out at 2% of your entire week. So easy way to break down 3 hours of training would be, let's say, with a lot of my female clients, we do 45-minute sessions. So it's 45 minutes of training, structured, come in, get out, maybe 10 or 15 minutes in the shower, and then go to work. So if you're doing that 2 or 3 times a week, that's your 3 hours. As I said, it's only 2% of your week. So who here thinks that 2% of your week is a lot to dedicate?
I run a lot.
Yeah, that's great.
I like to run.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah.
Ran a half marathon.
Wow, that's unreal. Congrats.
Yeah, so I'm really understanding the importance of healthy eating this year. So I'm trying to learn about what sugar does to the body and stuff like that.
Yeah, have a slide on that as well.
I'm trying to do it. I'm trying to incorporate that into lunch and everything at work. So yeah, it's really good. It's just about educating yourself, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So congrats on running the half marathon.
Thanks.
But yeah,
Thank you.
No worries. When it comes to fitting it into your lifestyle, it's just about doing what works for you. So it could be running, it could be going to the gym, it could be doing yoga, it could be going for walks, it could be rock climbing. Doesn't really matter what it is once it's something that you enjoy. All right, who here likes cats? Everyone else's dogs, I presume? I see. That has nothing to do with today's presentation, I was just curious. So I'm going to talk about sleep and blue light now, because blue light is the one main thing that's causing everybody to have really bad sleep. And obviously, if you have a bad sleep, you wake up the next day, you have lower energy levels. If you have low energy levels, that's going to impact work. If you have lower energy levels, then it's going to impact your own mental health and well-being as well. So you can see it has like downstream effects. So what do I mean by blue light? So basically, any light that comes out from computer screens, comes from your phone. Who here would watch Netflix on a regular basis lying in bed at night? Yeah, most of us. And so on your phone, you have a lot of blue light that comes out of the screen. And what that does is affects one of your main antioxidants and hormones in your brain called melatonin. And so melatonin is the most important thing when it comes to sleep. Yeah. And you can see here on the chart, we basically have 2 different hormones. So we have melatonin in this red line, and then we have cortisol on the black line. So when it comes to getting a really, really good sleep, what we want to do is we want to have a natural rise in melatonin as the day goes on. So as the sun sets, naturally your melatonin levels will increase. But the one thing that's going to stop that melatonin from increasing is if you're watching, as I said, your phone, or if you're on your computer, that blue light that's coming into your eye is causing that melatonin levels to actually drop. So simple fix for that would be go onto your iPhone or whatever phone you have and just adjust the screen brightness. Most phones will have blue light blockers now. You can get an app as well called f.lux, so f.lux. Yeah. You can download that, it's really, really good. And that automatically changes your screen brightness as the day goes on. So if you're working late at night until whatever, 9, 10 o'clock, you can have that on your computer and it'll naturally reduce the blue light that's coming out of the screen. So a really simple, easy way to help you get a better sleep at night time. Who here on average would get, let's say, 5 hours sleep? By show of hands? 2 or 3? What about 6 hours? 2 or 3. All right, 7 hours? Very good. And what about 8 or 9?
Minimum.
Awesome, that's really good. Yeah, so the more sleep you can get, like if I get 5 or 6 hours sleep, I don't tend to usually be in a great mood. But if I get 8 or 9 hours sleep, I'm like literally feel on top of the world. So it's amazing how much of a difference just a few extra hours sleep that you can get. On average, you want to try and get about 5 sleep cycles. So the way the sleep works, it goes in like 90-minute periods where you go from light sleep to deep sleep to light sleep, and you generally go through these phases at nighttime. So if you get less blue light in your eyes at night, you'll go into a deeper sleep a bit faster. And then as well, if you get about 7.5 to 8 hours, you should be like fully recharged with that.
Sorry, can I mention that these glasses also help with the melatonin, the blue light?
Yeah, they're literally one of the best investments you can make.
Just to make you aware that they exist.
Yeah, how much do they cost you?
Probably 30 euros.
30?
Or maybe less.
That's pretty good. Yeah, so you can get those glasses, and they're basically just, they have a filter on them. They come in like orange or red. And they're really, really good investments because it stops all of the blue light coming into your eye. So if you want to have the best sleep of your life, invest in a pair of those, and after about 30-40 minutes, you'll be conked out in bed and you'll have the best sleep ever.
I have the model number for these in my head if anyone wants to. It's UVEX.
It's definitely worth it, yeah.
S1933X.
There's loads of them on Amazon as well. If you just
well, these ones go around the corner, you see, I like them.
Yeah, especially around the sides as well.
They go around the sides, yeah. So that's UVEX 1933X. S1933X.
Is there a prescription?
No,
No,
I bought them on Amazon or something.
Yeah, you can get them off the internet. Yeah.
Eli, can I just take you up on a point on your last slide?
Yep.
I find this really interesting. I have ADHD and I find it difficult to switch off at night. So I'll often get on my laptop and start sending emails or whatever, and then I'm buzzing, and then I sort of get carried away, and it could be 1 or 2 morning, and then shit, I haven't switched off yet.
Yeah.
And I've really been trying to work on having a better sleep routine over the last 9 months.
Awesome,
And I'm doing that, so I'm switching off, getting at least 7 hours sleep, and I'm feeling better for it. But I think it's something that's taken time actually for your body to actually get used to it.
Mm-hmm.
For that. And the other thing I've been doing is actually taking a melatonin supplement.
Yeah, I supplement with melatonin as well.
And that really makes a world of difference. Now I'm not taking it every night at the moment. There's some days I feel like I need it, and I'll get I took it last night, and I definitely slept way better from it. So. In some countries they're available over the counter. Unfortunately, in Ireland they're not, which I think is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a bit weird, but you can still order it anyway. So. Yeah,
where
Amazon, yeah, that's where I've got it before. Yeah. But yeah, that's a really good point. Melatonin, you can supplement it because it's already a naturally occurring hormone and antioxidants in your body. You can supplement with it to help it to rise up a little bit more. If you didn't want to use melatonin, you can also supplement with vitamin B6 and magnesium. Vitamin B6 and vitamin B5 actually work as what's called a cofactor for producing more melatonin and serotonin in your brain. So it's going to help you get a better, deeper sleep. But I always kind of try and focus on the basics first, and that's looking at lifestyle factors, and that would be simple things like your computer and your phone and stuff like that. But if you sort all that out and you're still struggling to have a deep sleep, supplement with stuff like, as you said, melatonin or magnesium and that sort of stuff can really help a lot.
I think it can be people find it difficult to transition from doing a lot to doing nothing.
Yeah.
And what I find is reading can be the bridge. So it's not quite nothing entirely, but it does tire your eyes at least.
Yeah.
And then we're fall asleep. For me anyway.
I've actually got a reminder now. I think again this is some apps, and one of them is actually a reminder that I got on my phone. It says it's time to switch off. So there's kind of more ADHD related kind of reminders for that.
Absolutely, yeah.
But it's time to switch off, and then tell me, now I know what it says, so I don't need to read it. But it's like open your windows, air out the bedroom, that kind of thing. So I just kind of get this mental reminder, if you like that. Okay, start winding down, basically. So
absolutely,
some people maybe do that already, but if you don't have it, it's,
especially for people who work a lot, it's really important to not only schedule your time on in work, but your time off, where you're just focusing on yourself and your own well-being. So, as you said, switching off towards maybe 10 or half 10. So I'm going to go through some nutrition basics here, and then just give you everything that you need to know. Who here is a meat eater? All right, and everyone else is vegetarian or vegan, maybe?
Vegetarian.
Okay, sweet, perfect. So I have a slide for that as well. So I'm going to go through basically what you need to know about protein. So to have high energy levels and to feel good and have healthy, skin, hair, nails, tone up faster, whatever your goals may be, there's a certain amount of protein that you have to have, and protein is absolutely essential. So what you need to do is have about 1 gram per kilo of body weight. So I weigh 97 kilos, so at minimum I need 97. If you weigh 55, you need 55 grams. The more active you get, the more protein you want to have to help with recovery. So it's as simple as that. But for most of us here, it's about 1 to 1.2 grams of protein per kilo of body weight. And then there's some vegetarian protein sources. I've worked with a good few vegetarians before, and it can be quite difficult to get enough protein in. So it's really good to know, what's best bang for your buck. And so there's some really good sources there. Greek yogurt, lentils, beans, cottage cheese, eggs, peanut butter, quinoa. You can also supplement with a thing called pea protein powder as well. So instead of using whey protein that comes from cheese, you can use pea protein. That's hemp protein as well, soya. There's loads of different types of protein supplements that you can get if you're struggling to get it from your diet. Who here would be a big fan of sweet things, carbs, donuts, all that good stuff? Don't lie, I love it too as well. So when it comes to carbohydrates, the easiest way to think about it is it's non-essential. So it's like if you're driving your car from here to Galway, obviously you're gonna have to fill it up with fuel. So your body's the exact same. The more active you are, the more carbs you need. That's really all there is to it. Absolute basics, if you're not active, maybe like 1 gram of carb per kilo of body weight. If you're really, really active, you run a lot, if you cycle a lot, it could be 4, 5, 6 grams of carbohydrates per kilo. So it's always dependent on how active you are. Then when it comes to fat as well, so really good fat sources will be like nuts, fish. They'd be kind of like the two main ones. And when it comes to fat, you want to focus on getting about 0.6 to 0.8 grams per kilo of body weight. So let's say if you weigh 100 kilos, you need about 60 to 80 grams, somewhere in that range. And again, that's going to help with keeping your energy levels high, feeling good, recovering quicker. Really important for your skin, really important for your hormones. So for men, keeping our testosterone levels high enough. For women, it's managing your estrogen, progesterone. Women also have a little bit of testosterone as well. So fat is really important for managing your hormones. All right, and then we're going to move on to losing weight and tone up. So who's had this goal before, that they want to lose weight, tone up, feel better, feel more confident, be able to wear your favorite clothes, t-shirt, dress, whatever it may be. Yeah, we've all been there at some point. So I'm going to tell you how to do it in like 60 seconds. So it's actually really, really simple. It's just a matter of doing the 6 things that I said earlier at the start, the pillars, getting enough sleep, managing your stress, all that stuff. But then the next thing would be managing your calories. So if we put in the context of Christmas, it can be worrying around Christmas, like, I'm going to be drinking a lot, there's going to be a lot of food. There's nothing worse when after Christmas you feel bloated or you feel crappy or you feel like you've put on 4, 5, 6 kilos or whatever it may be. So a simple strategy that you can implement to work around that is, let's say, okay, you're going to have a lot of food and a lot of drink, maybe 5, 6, 7 glasses of wine, who knows, on Christmas and Stephen's Day. And so it could be an extra 1,000 to 1,500 calories that you're eating on the Christmas Day and Stephen's Day. So that's about 3,000 calories, we'll say, for example. So all you need to do 7 days previous to that is, if you track your calories and you were, let's say, about 500 calories under what your maintenance calories are, obviously over 7 days, you save up about 3,500 calories. And then you can, implement that. You can eat more then on Stephen's Day and Christmas Day because you've saved up more. So then the net result is that obviously you've gone lower on the 7 days leading up to Christmas, and then you've obviously gone way high on the Christmas Day and then Stephen's Day. But the net balance is the exact same. So you're not gaining weight or losing weight. So is that fairly clear? Or?
Yeah. I think Christmas starts to run now, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's true, yeah. So again, simple strategy, as I said, even if you just track your calories, try to keep it a bit lower on the days that you can, and then the days that you know you are going to be drinking a lot or eating a lot, obviously just enjoy that. We don't want to be at the Christmas dinner table like, I only have this amount of calories left, or I can't, enjoy this. Like, you want to be able to enjoy it and have a good time. So if you do a bit of tracking beforehand, then that's going to save you a lot of bother, and you're not going to put on any extra weight after Christmas. So that's pretty much it.
Sorry, can I just add there? Just to might help people, because I've become really passionate about healthy stuff over the last year or so, and I started eating food, but obviously we all have to eat food, but like in smaller portions and eating it slowly.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to practice like mindful eating, and then you find that you're more full, because the brain gets a response to say that you're full. But if you eat too quick, the brain doesn't receive that signal, and then you just keep eating.
Absolutely,
so
yeah. So
eating slowly really would help.
Yeah, eating mindfully is super important. Yeah, you just want to think about chewing your food as well. So really simple stuff. Who here drinks alcohol on a weekly basis? Okay, sweet. So when it comes to alcohol, only things you need to know is that it's about 7 calories per gram. So in real terms, 4 glasses of wine is about 800 calories. Little bottle of vodka is about 500 calories. 4 pints of Budweiser or Heineken Guinness is about 800 calories as well. So if you were to track it, you'd be able to see exactly how much calories you have coming in from alcohol. So you can still, enjoy Christmas, and you can still have some alcohol and stuff like that. And it doesn't mean that you have to put on weight. If you track your food and you track your calories, then it puts the power in your hands, and you can still hit your goals if you have goals related to weight loss or toning up. So really quickly, some big benefits of training. One of the main things is when you train at a high enough intensity, you get a big release of serotonin and dopamine in your brain. So 2 really big important neurotransmitters that are going around all our brains right now that help us feel good and feel joyful, and help us with good habits and stuff like that. So that's the biggest takeaway I want you to go away from in terms of training today, is that you get that release of serotonin and dopamine. Obviously there's a lot of physical benefits as well, just like feeling better, lower blood pressure, lower heart rate. If you have a lower heart rate, you're going to feel fitter. I went and got a DEXA scan done a couple of weeks ago. Basically, you basically like lie down in this machine and like scans you. It's like something from like Star Trek or something. It takes like 10 minutes to do. It's quite expensive. It's like €250, but it tells you like how like dense your bones are, and basically my bone mineral density was like 20% higher than most people my age, and that's just because I've been training with weights and stuff for the last few years. So thinking longer term, that means I'm going to have lower chances of having like osteoporosis or arthritis or things like that. So training is actually a really good investment in yourself, because if you think long term, it'll actually save you a lot of money when it comes to like health bills and just not getting sick and having issues and stuff like that. So really quick on the nervous system, this is all related to stress. So the more stressed you are, you're going to be more in the sympathetic zone, higher blood pressure, higher heart rate, you're not going to feel as good. Basically you want to be more over in this parasympathetic zone, where how you're going to get there is by sleeping more, being more mindful about things, doing more training, and you'll always get your best results when you're in the parasympathetic zone. So in real terms, when it comes to stress and stuff like that, if you can manage your stress really, really well, you're going to be more parasympathetic. That's your rest or digest. Sympathetic is more fight or flight. So we don't want to always have our cortisol high and our adrenaline high, because if we do, we're just going to feel like crap pretty much. So chronic stress, it leads to high blood pressure, as I said, high resting heart rate, poor sleep. Who here has lost sleep before because they've had just a really crappy day at work and a lot going on? Yeah, we've all been there at some point. So being able to manage that stress is really important. Some other things, reproductive issues, low energy levels, and then obviously depression is a big one that comes from chronic stress and having that from a long time.
Can you just go back one slide?
Yeah, if you want, I can send you the slides afterwards as well.
Yeah.
But you can take a photo
Just
there.
take a quick snap.
Yeah,
The one before, sorry, the nervous.
Yeah.
Sorry, Elon, on the question of training, do you have any recommendation as to what kind of optimal training is? Because conscious that given people's time constraints, they might have to choose to do one thing or just a mixture of things that are limited.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts as to what kinds of training?
It kind of depends on what you enjoy, what's convenient to you, how close maybe a gym is to where you work, or maybe could even just be going for a run, or depends on how long you have as well. So if you only have 20 minutes a day, sticking the shoes on and just going running straight away, probably the simplest thing. If you have 45 minutes, maybe doing a training session in a gym. If you have longer, it could be a combination of things. So it really just depends on you specifically, but it's finding what's most convenient, what's closest to you, and then
Do something basically.
and yeah, just something's better than nothing. Yeah, exactly. So managing stress, how do we do that? As I said earlier, trying to train as regularly as possible, being mindful. One of the best ways to manage stress is to actually sleep more, and then obviously having a look at the thing that's stressing you out most. So for me, dealing with depression last year, the thing that led to that mostly was just working too much, 50, 60, 70 hours a week, not focusing on myself, putting everything I had into my business instead of on myself. So have a real good look at what's causing the stress and then try to fix that maybe a little bit. And then one of the last things to go through is digital detox. So again, one of the big things that leads to stress is just this thing here, constantly being connected all of the time. So if we can kind of get rid of Facebook and Instagram and stuff, maybe just delete it off the phone. I do that on a regular basis. That can really help with dealing with stress. And then last thing is how to increase your energy levels naturally. So, getting enough food in, as I said earlier with the recommendations, protein, carbs, fat. Also getting a deep sleep, so trying to keep the blue light low in the evening so you can get a deep sleep. Having some caffeine. Who here is a big fan of coffee? Yeah, it's an everyday thing for me, 1 or 2 cups, can't beat it. Gives you a really good surge in energy. Cold showers as well, not for everybody. I do it the odd time, like 10 seconds in and then hop out quickly. If you can stay in for longer, fair play. And then obviously optimism as well is a big one. So just being positive of what we have and things that are going on around us. And yeah, that's pretty much it for me. As I said, the main takeaway for today is asking yourself that question: what am I doing to manage my my mind and my well-being? And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thanks a lot.
Do you have a question?
Yeah, sorry. I was going to ask in relation to hydration, what's your recommendation?
So it just
When's the
depends.
best time to take it and how much to take?
Depends on your height, weight, and size. So what height are you?
5'4", let's say.
Okay, so if you're 5'4", at least like a litre and a half would be kind of like your minimum. The more
day.
active you are, yeah, a day. The more active you are, the more water you're going to need, because obviously you're going to sweat if you're walking more, or you're training more, or whatever it may be. So you always need to keep that balance. Especially really important with electrolytes, so sodium and potassium. So just simply salt in your food is going to help keep your electrolyte balance there. And then simple way to get water. I don't have one here, but even just keeping a 2 litre bottle on you if you're in work, leave it at your desk, and you kind of just sip on it throughout the day. That'd be the easiest way to make sure you're getting enough water.
Okay, thank you.
Alright, no worries. Thank you.
You asked about exercise. I think, I mean, you mentioned Elon, but high